I remember it started like this. It was the end of my high school years. I wanted things, and I doubted. I was looking for a training course to ensure my future. And then there were encounters, a roadmap, a bond of trust. I remember the first day of the school year. There was inevitably some apprehension and great expectations, but I was happy to be setting out on this new adventure. Already in my first year, I learned a lot. I understood how to use my agility, how to express myself, convince others, how to gain confidence in myself. I remember meeting guides coming from diverse backgrounds who inspired me, helped me decipher the world around me and understand what tomorrow will be made of. I remember a place where everything was done to help sense the trends, anticipate and innovate. I remember a place where my path was not completely mapped out, a place where the word life took on its full meaning, where, quite simply, we were together. Over the years, I discovered an increasingly open and connected universe. I met people from all over the world, on international campuses, discovering inspiring places and new ways of working. Gradually, I prepared my future, and I set myself challenges in real work environments. Year after year, I have matured. And now I'm forging my future in a world full of promise. I remember everything went so quickly. I remember having dreamed of it. And now it's all becoming possible. It will be tomorrow, and it will be here.
Good morning, everyone. You're watching Campus France Live. Thanks a lot to be there with us. Today we're going to talk about higher education in France and to discover a communication and advertising school, ISCOM. And to talk about the school and to talk about the different programs, I'm very pleased to welcome Eléna MANSUROVA. Hello.
Hello.
Thanks a lot to be there with us. You're the Director of International Relations. I'm also here with you, Cristina MIRAMONTES. Hello.
Hi.
You're International Mobility Officer, and we're also with Tameesha. Hello.
Hello.
You're an alumni working for Tinder. You're going to talk about that. Yesterday was Valentine's Day. Yesterday was Valentine's Day, so I imagine that it was a very important moment for you. And we're also going to talk with you, Rayann. Hello.
Hello.
You're a student of International Global Communication Program in the first year, and you're going to talk about your experience at ISCOM, and you can also ask all the questions that you have in the chat section. The different people from the school are going to answer all of your questions. But to begin, Eléna, can you present ISCOM in few words?
Oh, sure. So created in 1986 in Paris, ISCOM, High Institute of Advertising and Communication, is a network today of 10 campuses in France. I'll try not to forget any. We have Paris, Lille, Lyon, Toulouse, Strasbourg, Montpellier, Rouen. And for the upcoming semester, we are opening 2 brand new campuses in Rennes. It's the Brittany region, just want to visit. And in Nice, who doesn't know the French Riviera? ISCOM is a part of Edu Services Group. It's the leading private educational group in France. And our 10 campuses unite 4,500 students. So we recruit students after the high school and train them during 5 years to the wide range of communication professions. You have political communication, digital communication, and everything you can imagine connected to the communication industry. We give our students the time to determine themselves and to have their professional and personal project. And after 5 years with us, they get the brand manager diploma, which is recognized by the French Ministry of Labor. With the current situation, health situation in France, we all know how the communication function was important in the companies and for us in a management position. So that's why we have a great ambition at school to this kind of formation.
And to train and to form all the students that you have, what are the different programs that you offer?
At ISCOM, we actually offer the Grande École program, which covers the full range of communication professions in 5 years. And with our scientific council, we organized these communication professions in 5 different groups. So we can find international communication, digital transformation and strategy, brand design, strategic planning, and influence and reputation. The objective of first 2 years is to learn the fundamentals of the communication. Our students learn humanities, culture, they develop their creativity, and they have their first internship. During the 3rd year, they have the choice for the international experience with an internship or an academic exchange program. We have about 50 universities, partner universities around the world, and with Cristina, we work hard to have even more. The 4th year, we offer a wide range of different specialization, and the 5th year is the year of the transition towards the professional world. It's a work and study program, and after this program, our students have the possibility to have their first job.
So that's a very very interesting way
To train.
to train and to learn
Communication.
communication. I just think that we have a issue with my mic. Okay, that's working. I'm sorry. How long do this program last, Cristina?
Yeah, so actually, as Eléna was saying, we have the Programme Grande École, which lasts 5 years, and students can definitely choose their specialization inside of those 5 years. It would be during the 3rd year that they would be choosing that specialization. And so once they are finished with those 5 years, they will be getting the brand manager degree.
And in which languages are the different programs taught?
Yeah, actually, so students have the possibility of studying either in French or in English during those 5 years. And so for students who choose their specialization in English from the 1st year, they definitely do have the possibility of learning French as a foreign language. And for students who are in the French program, they can learn Spanish, Mandarin, German, Italian, any other language that they want as a second language as well.
Tameesha, as I said, you're now an alumni, but you studied at ISCOM. Which program did you choose? Which specialization? And why did you choose to study at ISCOM? I think we have an issue with your mic. Yeah. Is it working? Not sure
Hello?
it's working. I think it's working,
Hello?
yes. Perfect.
Sorry, I'll hold it like this. So I studied marketing communication management, and I did a 2-year master's, and I remember it was open to students from a variety of backgrounds, which is perfect for me because I did my studies in French, Spanish, and interpreting. I came to France to get better at French and to teach professionals in businesses English. Many of the professionals that I taught were in marketing and communications. So I was really inspired by what they were doing and decided to change career paths. And a lot of them recommended it. It's really well known in the industry. And so, yeah, I went for it and I applied. What I really thought was it was great because the professionals, so the professors are often professionals and still work in communications or have their own businesses. So you're getting really relevant and up to date material to get you ready for your first job.
And you, Rayann, you're a student in the 1st year. Can you tell us why you decided to choose ISCOM and why you decided to choose your program and your specialization?
I chose the international section at ISCOM because today the world doesn't have barriers, thanks to the internet, for example. And I think that learning basic and national communication limits your knowledge of the world, of people who live abroad, and even of other languages. Because to rebound on your question, I also choose the international section to improve my English and why not other languages. And ISCOM is very good for that.
So that's the idea, to be trained to communication and to be trained to foreign language. We are going to talk about pedagogy. Eléna, can you tell us a few words about the pedagogy? What is the idea of the different way the classes are taught?
Previously, we were talking about the courses outline and the whole construction of these 5 years as just one objective, employment. So we do everything. So at the end, our students have a job.
Okay.
As quickly as possible and as satisfying as possible in terms of salary, in terms of company, country, whatever. So we try to rely as much as we can to the realities of the company. And it's a very pragmatic way to learn communications and go towards employability. As a result, 90% of our students, our graduates, have a job 6 months after leaving ISCOM. And as for courses, for example, we have between 20 and 25 hours of academic courses plus 25 hours of teamwork and individual work. And we have to have in mind then you have also a homework, teamwork, and individual one. And each subject is approached in a very simple way in 3 steps. So you discover first, you discover the fundamentals, the history of the subject, then you understand. It's always better to understand when you learn, and then you apply in the real cases. Our lecturers, as just like Tameesha said, are working professionals. They have their own businesses, and our program includes a lot of real study cases with companies.
And what was for you, Tameesha, the balance between practical and theoretical courses? Just to let people imagine how it could be for them when they're going to go to ISCOM. Do you have a lot of classes with theoretical material, or is it more a practical point of view?
So I think the balance was perfect for me. So it was like in the 2 years that I was at ISCOM, I did a 6-month internship and I did a year-long apprenticeship. In the first 6 months, because I hadn't done any communication or marketing, yes, there was a lot of theory, but we always put that theory into practice in the classroom with group and teamwork and pitches. So it was challenging, but really realistic and really prepped me for the working world as well.
And Rayann, as a first-year student, can you tell us what are the different classes that you follow? What is the program of this first year for you at ISCOM?
It exists several classes, but being now in my first year, I'm simply discovering the wide panel that ISCOM gives us. But I think that if I have to choose one, I will choose graphic design class because we are free to create content from A to Z. But all the other classes are extremely interesting and help each student in their own way to their future life. I also wanted to talk about challenges that ISCOM gives us each month, where real companies come to school and brief us during this week. And it's very important and beneficial to our growth.
And what are the other classes that you have as a first-year student? What do you study concretely? Like you have a graphic design, and imagine that you have some classes about history of communication. What do you have concretely?
Concretely, we have many types of class. We have general culture, writing skills, because the English writing is very different from the French. We have communication monitoring. We have several challenges with the school, and we have many types of classes.
Tameesha, what was your favorite class? Do you remember when you were a student? Did you have one class that really stay on your mind?
Yeah, so it was a while back now, but I do remember, like Rayann said, the marketing games, and one that really stuck out for me was my first one, which was with Orange. So the marketing team came to the school, and they delivered a real life brief, and then students were split up into teams, and then we had a week to work on a recommendation and then present it to Orange. And it was really innovative at the time. It was on NFC payments for 12 to 17-year-olds, and it really challenged us. And what was even and went on to work with Orange on their proposal. So you can't get more realistic than that.
And do you think that this kind of professional project, concrete project, prepared you to the professional world?
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're really the foundational building blocks that prepare you for the working world, because, it's so valuable to know how to work with people that you might not know very well, that specialize in different things, to be able to problem solve as a team, work to tight deadlines, and also you can have the best ideas, but you need to be able to pitch them and sell them in as well. And often at ISCOM, you're pitching your ideas to people that you might be working with tomorrow in your first job. So, yeah.
If you're joining us, thanks a lot to be there with us. You're watching Campus France Live, and we're discovering together ISCOM, a communication and advertising school, and we are now going to talk about the admission process, how to go and to get into ISCOM. My first question is for you, Cristina, really easy. What background do you require to join ISCOM?
Yeah, so we actually don't require any specific background out of the students wanting to join ISCOM. We do allow any student to take the admission tests. The selection process requires for students to have only the high school diploma, right? And for students who want to join ISCOM at the third or the fourth or the fifth year, they can actually do so as long as they have proof of validating and completing their previous higher education years.
And what are then the different steps for the people wanting to join? You were just talking about the tests.
Yeah, so there are tests that students have to take in order to join ISCOM, and students, first of all, they have to go online to the iscom.fr website. They have to register there and let us know that they are interested in joining ISCOM. And so, first of all, they will be sending their application. Then the admissions department will contact them directly with instructions for the registration file, which has to include the CV, the letter of motivation. They also have to include their previous school transcripts, and they have to include their ID and a passport picture, for example. Also, if they want to, they can include a letter of recommendation, so that we can have an idea of what people outside of their school think, if they are able to join ISCOM. And something that we recommend also is that if they do have like a portfolio of their own work, they can include it as well.
Like, for instance, Instagram pictures
Well,
or feeds,
it
or
can, yeah, definitely.
TikTok feed if they have a huge community.
Honestly, whatever students want to put in their application file, they can, because this is going to show us not only who the student is, but what they can do, right? And so definitely TikTok, Instagram, but also if they have, if they had taken pictures that are at a professional grade, obviously include them in your application file. And students normally will be able to get a response within a week of their application. And so if students want to apply, we encourage them to do so.
And then there is a test with different things to be put, just to know in few words, not maybe into the details, but the idea of the test is to get to know the knowledge of communication that students have.
Yeah, well, actually, there are very specific tests. There's going to be an English test, right? They will need to have a certain specific level of English, and there are multiple choice questions, and there's a synthesis of motivation and professional project that they would be encouraged to to do. It takes about 48 hours. Sorry, it doesn't take about 48 hours. They have up to 48 hours to turn it in, but it could take up to 2 hours to make.
Rayann, as a first-year student, we imagine that this selection is pretty fresh in your mind. How did it go for you, and what would be your advice in order to have a successful admission process for the students?
The application was less stressful, tough, and long than those of other schools. At first, you have a few questions about yourself. You have to develop your opinion and your personality. Then you present an advertisement that has marked you and explain why. The school gives you an answer in a few days, so no worries. Then you have to complete some tests and questionnaires such as general culture or English. The process is the same for the non-international, but always in French. And to have a successful admission, there are no secrets. You have to be yourself and describe you would be a good fit for the school and vice versa. You have to make sure that your passion, your interest in communication, and even your personality shine through in your personal statement. And obviously, don't forget to use example. It's the most important.
And how did you prepare for all this test and all this procedure? Did you do some specific things like reading more the newspaper, for instance? How did you prepare concretely to help the student watching us today?
Yeah, you have to read the news, obviously, the medias or even the social medias, and you just have to be yourself. So no need to be very prepared in this case, but yeah, you have to read news, medias, etc.
The idea, Cristina, of all this procedure, what are you looking for? I imagine you don't want like all the same kind of students reading all the newspaper, etc. You want to find the true students and with true passionate people about communication.
Yeah, of course, definitely. Obviously, we don't want to close ourselves to a certain specific type of student, right? But we do like to know that our students that want to join, the students that want to join ISCOM, they are curious, they are, open-minded, and that they are passionate about communications. They have a good command of the language. And so I think those things are what makes our students, just special. And we want to make sure that we are able to select those who stand out, right?
And how to know that we are a good fit to study communication, because we all communicate, we all spend a lot of time on social networks, but it's not enough to know that we're good for communication. Being a Snapchatter or an Instagrammer doesn't make me a communicant. How to know that we're good for the communication field?
Yeah, well, obviously, that's why we go to school, to learn. And so even though we do look for, certain specific traits in a student, we don't necessarily require them to be already professionals in the world of communications. We are there to prepare them. And so definitely what we look more for is for that commitment to actually being able to learn everything that will be taught at ISCOM.
And what is the calendar for the application procedure?
Yeah, so we actually open up dates every month. From December to July, students have plenty of time to be able to send in their application. And every month there will be more dates opening. And so then once the student sends in their application, they can also ask for coaching sessions for their tests and for their video interview, right? And so so students, we invite you to apply online.
And once admitted, there is another. It's not a test, but it's another task for the student. It's all the different steps to come to France with the visa procedure, with all the administration and administrative steps. How do you help them with that? Because when you're 18, it could be sometimes difficult to have all the French administration talking to you. So do you help them with that?
Definitely, and I can completely understand that because I myself went through that, as a foreign student, and Eléna as well. And so we do work with an agency that helps students from the beginning. If it is with a visa or with finding accommodation, hiring a phone service, or there's also even the application for the CAF, which is the government housing aid that students, even international students, have access to. And so we definitely have this available for students coming to ISCOM.
We're now going to talk about the student life. How is it like to be a student at ISCOM? We are going to talk about that with Rayann and Tameesha. Rayann, first of all, I would like you to remember like the first days when you went to ISCOM. How was it for you? What were your first impression about the school, about what you experienced at fresh ISCOM students?
To be honest, I was very scared before joining ISCOM because I was wondering that I was not going to find friends. I was also afraid of the after high school life. Will I like communication, or will I lose a year and drop out of school? I was also doubtful about the section that I choose because, as I mentioned before, most of my life I have lived in France and I'm not a native English speaker. But now everything is going perfectly thanks to all the people who works in ISCOM, and thanks obviously to the other students.
And for you, Tameesha, how was it the first year? Like, did you have some fears before joining the school, before studying in France, or was it kind of easy for you?
I won't lie. I did have some fears and worries, and I think that's completely normal. I was worried about not being good enough at French because, like Rayann, but in the other way round, I chose to challenge myself and get better at French by doing the whole masters in French. So I was worried about that, especially for the pitches. But I think both teachers and students made me feel quite comfortable. Like the more you do your pitches and the more you participate in class, the more your confidence grows, the better at it you get. And I had no trouble really fitting in and making friends with French students. And the proof is, I mean, I stayed in France in the end for 7 years, so it went really well.
And can you describe, Rayann, maybe a little bit the life on campus? Which campus are you studying in?
I'm studying in Paris.
And how is life on the Parisian campus?
Being here since the end of September, I already feel comfortable thanks to the teacher and all the people who work at ISCOM, obviously. But one of the main quality of ISCOM in this particular year is that we are most of the time in class and not at home being behind the screen. So that's a very good thing, especially because human contact is extremely important in the communication studies. Almost all the projects that we have to do are in groups, so generally with people of our classes, but it could be with students of other programs or even other campuses. So we meet new people, new students every day.
And maybe for the international student watching us, can you describe what a Parisian life is? Because I imagine that when you go to study at ISCOM on the Parisian campus, you want to know more about the Parisian life. How is it for you?
Parisian life is very cool because Paris, as you know, is a very good city, a very known city. And you can find, especially in ISCOM, obviously, but you can find several many culture, I think. Yeah, Paris is a multicultural city, so yeah, you can find other people who will be good to you.
To discover, to get to know more.
Yeah.
For you, Tameesha, in which campus did you study?
I was also in Paris.
Is it like an Emily in Paris kind of life for you, or how was it?
I mean, I loved Emily in Paris. I know that half of it's probably not true, but I definitely recommend watching it to get you excited about moving to Paris.
Yeah, and how was it for you? How would you describe the student experience at ISCOM?
I think What I noticed is that it's just really fun, and there was a good energy because it felt like most of the people there just were really passionate about communication and trends. So there was that, and then creative as well. Like you're surrounded by people who are constantly thinking about the future of communications, technology, and then like as we've said before, like really practical. So I'm someone who likes doing things and putting into practice what I've learned, and that's definitely something that you get at ISCOM.
And as you said previously, the idea of the school is to get and to become a professional. So we're now going to talk about the professional world and the way you're moving from high school student state to professional state. Eléna, a key for that are the different internships that you offer for your student. What are the different internships that they can do? Can you give us more details about that?
Of course, we give some. The professional experience, internships, and work and study placement are a very important part of our teaching approach. And during the 4 first years, our students have internships every year. So in the first year, you have 2 months, then second year, 3 months, third year, international internship during 4 months, and in the fourth year, you have 6 months, very long internship. We usually advise our students to have the short internships in small companies, in private and in public sector, to try both, and then the longer internships in the big global companies. And actually, with these internships and a work-study program, our students graduate with 2 years of professional experience, and that's something the recruiters like a lot.
Maybe Tameesha, you can describe the different internships that you had the opportunity to do during your studies.
Yeah, so my first internship was the 6-month one, and I did that at CBA. It's a global design agency, and there I was lucky enough to work with some big global brands like Burger King, L'Oreal, and I was a project manager. So we were building international retail concepts like pop-up stores and flagship stores. So it was great to experience the agency world, to be that link between the client and the creative team. So that was my first experience, and then my second one was the 1-year apprenticeship that I did at eBay. So I was EU comms assistant, and I was running internal and external comms projects across France, Italy, and Spain. And I'd say having those 2 experiences on my CV has given me a lot of opportunities, but mostly it's the people that I met during them that have been really valuable in my career as well.
And how did it go after you graduated? Did you easily find a job? Was it directly at Tinder? How was it for you after graduation?
So after I graduated, I carried on working at eBay for about 2.5 years. So for the info, basically I found the eBay apprenticeship through ISCOM's career services. The announcement was posted by a fellow alumna from ISCOM, Leila Gilani Layal. So she was my manager at eBay, and then later on, I got an opportunity at Tinder, and she's my current manager. So you see how, yeah, building your network and building connections, like good working relationships, is really, really valuable.
That's the idea of the alumni network, and I'm very curious, and I imagine that people watching us are also very curious. What is your current position at Tinder? What is it concretely, and how is it related to what you learned during your years at ISCOM?
So my current position is EMEA comms manager. So it's related because I think a lot of what I learned at ISCOM about, so not only the soft skills like presenting and creativity, that kind of thing, but also the drive to always keep up with the latest trends and innovation and technology. That's really prepared me for a workplace like Tinder, where it's super innovative and agile. And Tinder, I don't know if you know, but it's mostly the majority of members are between 18 and 25 years old. So we're always trying to keep up with latest trends and innovations to see how they connect and want to date, whether it be through what happens on our app, like social experiences on our app, or commitment to trust and safety and causes. So it's really varied, and I think definitely ISCOM brought me that ability to spot trends and run with them.
No, that's really interesting, and that shows that there is plenty of opportunities, because it's a huge company, international company, and you have students of ISCOM working for this company. Eléna, where can they work after graduating? What are the different kind of companies and kind of jobs they can do?
The opportunities are varied, since ISCOM trains for a large variety of professions, and we were talking previously about 350 of them. So, of course, they can work for companies abroad, and for global companies. And we have, as an example, Tameesha with us, who is working for Tinder. Our alumni work for Disneyland Paris, Hermes, Dailymotion. And the best way to know where they are and what they do is to go to our LinkedIn page, and you have this button, alumni button, and you just click and you will see all our alumni and their careers.
And it's in all the different field of communication. It can be influence, social media, strategic planning. So everywhere we have people who need to communicate, so we can have an ISCOM alumni.
Exactly. So you will find, again, these 5 groups of different professions, and we train for all of them.
Rayann, do you already know what you want to do after graduating? You still have 4 years in front of you, but do you already have a little idea of what could be your future job?
To be honest with you, I don't know yet what I want to do, but I want to work in an international company. That's why I chose the international section, but I don't know yet exactly what I want to do.
And you still have time. You already had the opportunity to do one internship, I think, at the Chambre de Commerce in French. What was your internship about?
So I'm currently in Dubai for my first internship. So as you said, in the French Chamber of Commerce for 2 months. This internship really helped me because it's just practice and not theory. So I use all the knowledge that ISCOM gave me during my first semester.
And what are you doing concretely in Dubai? I imagine it's not just to be in Dubai, but you have a mission there. What do you do concretely?
I redesigned some logos of the French Chamber. I did one press release. I will do a press release. Sorry. I did some benchmark. And yeah.
No, that's really impressive. The first internship in Dubai. That's really, really good. When you are a student, you always have questions about your life, about what you will do, about the good decision, the good choices to have. Cristina, do you have people? Do you have advisors to talk about your career at ISCOM?
Definitely. We do have the career center that all of the students have access to. And they can, when you're a student, you are a little bit afraid of how you're going to find that internship that you are dreaming for, right? And so this career center, they actually help students find the internships that they need to do. Like Eléna said, in the second year, they will do a 2-month internship, the 30, and so on. And so the Career Center helps them find those internships. And also in the 5th year, as you know, they will be doing a work-study program. And so they also help students with finding that.
And there is a question that international students often have. Is it possible to stay in France after graduation? I think, Tameesha, that you are the illustration that it's possible.
Yeah, so I... like I said, did my apprenticeship at eBay, and then it went well. So I stayed on there after graduation. I stayed at eBay for 2.5 years. I probably would still be in France, actually, if I hadn't had an opportunity with Tinder in London. So, yeah, definitely possible.
We're now at the end of this live session, but before leaving you, we're going to give you maybe the last advice for the students who plan to come to France and to study at ISCOM. Let's begin with you, Eléna. What would be your last advice for the people watching us today?
First of all, you should not be afraid about the interview. You should look forward for it. Just be yourself. Be spontaneous, but prepare yourself. Be prepared. Spontaneity is always better. And don't forget that communication professions are the professions of curiosity, generosity, and you have to be open-minded. And we will welcome you as well as we can, because we have this same experience that you will have in France.
Cristina, what would be your last advice for the people watching us today?
Yeah, so definitely go for it. I think that for students thinking of coming to study in France, sometimes they might be afraid of taking that jump and going on to a new life, being faced to a new language, new culture. But I think that once you get over that fear of the new, you will be able to have an amazing experience here, not only in France, but obviously at ISCOM with us. So we will be happy to see you at ISCOM, see all the students.
Same question for you, Rayann. What would be your last advice for the people watching us today?
As Cristina said, don't hesitate. You have to go. France is a very good country. Paris is a good city, and all the other campuses also. And ISCOM is a very good school. So yeah, you have to go.
And you, Tameesha, the last advice for the people watching us today?
So my advice would be, like the others, just go for it. It's the best decision I ever made to come to France and do my studies at ISCOM. I'd say fully immerse yourself in the French culture. Like, you might not need to speak French in your course, but try and learn a bit, because it can really help you with building a network, meeting new people. And my last piece of advice is definitely say yes to everything. Social activities organised by the school, drinks, extra projects, because that's where you'll meet people and that's where you'll get your opportunities.
And we hope that it will be a match between ISCOM and the people watching us today. Thanks a lot, Eléna, Cristina, Tameesha, and Rayann, for having been with us today. And thanks to you for having watched us. If you still have questions, you can, of course, visit the website of ISCOM, which is
iscom.fr.
Really easy, so you can visit the website and maybe begin all the different admission steps. Thanks a lot for watching us on Campus France Live, and see you soon.